Ahmed back again with WDSportz with another interview. This time I've got Marc. Marc, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, mate. Yeah, I'm Marc Harrison. We're Tilbury FC manager. Thanks for having us on.
Yes, brilliant to have you on. Now, Marc, obviously, with a couple of questions first is how did you get into managing at such a level, and what made you want to be a manager of Tilbury?
To be honest, I f- the, when you're sort of younger and most people sort of have the aspirations to want to be a professional footballer. Mine was always to coach and manage, and obviously I am only 30 years old myself now, and I've actually been managing for 11, 12 years now. So I sort of fell into it at youth level for a local football club called Basildon Boys. Sort of done it as a favour, and to be honest, I just really enjoyed being around sort of the challenging environment and sort of to be successful. Even when we was doing with the younger ages, we took it very seriously, and we've been very successful along the way in terms of promotions. I think although it is a lower level, I think we've experienced 8 promotions in them 11 seasons. So we've definitely earned the right to be in the Bostik North and enjoying this fantastic challenge there.
Yeah, it's good to hear from. Do you think managing is something as a job, I suppose, because it comes from a school of thought, if you're with me, some people think managing is a type of profession, especially in football, where you learn on the job, or how do you become a better manager, if that makes sense? Do you just have to go through the ranks, or do you have to have, learn from your defeats, or do you believe that, studying other managers such as Mourinho and Ferguson will make you a better manager?
There's always, I think what we're lucky to have now is the material online, like your webinars, like on YouTube. There's some fantastic websites like Football DNA, etc. And it's about taking the right information on and developing it so you can get it over to your environment. It's not copying; is not always gonna help that and progress it, but taking the right information on and putting it in your own way. I'm very lucky to have 2 minds on the stuff that we bring in, because Liam and myself and the rest of our management team are very good at expressing ourselves in terms of making it our own, and we do change a lot of what we do bring in terms of material. So yeah, no, I think the answer to your question is you've got to be very open-minded in what you're doing and make it your own, because it doesn't always work. One thing might not work for another, and I just think it's very, very important that you are open-minded with what you're doing. And if you get the players to be open-minded and keep challenging them, then things do become successful. It's the biggest thing is to get everyone in that environment working alongside each other, right in line with each other. And if you get that, then you can be successful, because you all got a fantastic understanding of where you want to be going and how you're going to do it. And that's not easy as a manager to get that balance. And we have been very lucky enough over the past to have got a changing room that's willing to work really hard for each other. So yeah, the answer to your question is just make things your own and make players be open-minded in what you're doing, and keep giving them the knowledge and the platform to do well and excel. And that's one thing we base ourselves on, and that's what we'll challenge ourselves again for this summer, to push on and get players challenging themselves again. And we really look forward to that.
What do you think, from your level of management, is different from the professional level? Because obviously you're dealing with people who may have other interests in life, such as, jobs on the side, or trying to start their own businesses and play football as a way, to try and make it, or some see it as just a way to try and go up through the ranks. How do you motivate your players, and what do you think the difference is between the level you're working at compared to the top level?
I think the biggest thing, and probably, would be the timings you have with the players. I know if I had the group of players we had at Tilbury and we had them in sort of 4 or 5 days a week, I know there's different areas that we can improve on, and we'd have the time to do that. And I think that's what the professional side or full-time clubs have the benefit of having, because they've got so much time. They've got so much time, and I think that's what the difference is. is the timings, what we can do, what you're able to do with them. And the difference is probably you've got to look along the line of you can probably a lot more in depth in stuff as well. So if you was heavy on sort of analysing and things like which we are at this level, but being at the top level, you're able to really mix it up so you can do your physical and your sort of your hard work, get onto the pitch, do your set pieces, etc. And you've just got so much more time, and that's the difference for me, the timings.
As a manager of your level, I'm always curious. As I'm curious at that level, especially when you're managing your player, where it's necessarily not. Forgive me if I come across a bit offensive here. Not the biggest aspect of your life at the moment. In some cases, and sometimes, do you think you sometimes let football take priority over, or do you think you've got a good balance when it comes to football and your normal average day life, or do you think sometimes you're like, yeah, football does take priority, or sometimes you think other stuff take priority?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm quite selfish in the fact that I don't balance things as well as I should. Football is like right now I find it very difficult not to have the everyday running of Tilbury. That's the most difficult thing at the moment, and I'm enjoying the time with my family, but in a selfish way, it's not my normal life, and it is very, very difficult for that to come away. So balancing things is, I'm quite selfish in the fact that even with the players, I say your family and work come first, and then after that I want you thinking Tilbury Football Club. And that's just the way we're made, and that's what we look for when we bring the players in, and that's what we expect there. And like I said, it may be come across in a selfish way, but I'm sure there's a lot of managers and players that understand what I'm saying, because you have to put it in. If you don't put it in, if you're not able to commit to them sort of standards, say the standards you want to set, it takes time and it takes a lot, and there's late nights and there's long days, and it's the way it is. But I love that, and my family do understand that, and I'm really pleased that they do. I'm very lucky that they do.
Well, you talk about your family understanding. Have you ever had a player who perhaps is not thinking the same way as you or the Tilbury philosophy, and how do you challenge that? Do you just basically say, right, we're not taking this player, or do you try and take them to one side and say, look, this is what we're about, you're either with us or not?
Yeah, it is difficult, because obviously you've got to be flexible. I think I'm more looking at the side of like the management side. You have got to be a little bit more flexible with the players, because their non-league players are fantastic. Their commitment is unreal. But they've got a lot going on. Like, I get players that are travelling in and out of London. Their trains are late. You've got so them away, and they've got there, and it's excellent what they do, and full credit to their work that let them do that, and their families. And they do deserve more credit. They definitely deserve more credit. And I'm a little bit more flexible. I do expect us to be in and around and us putting it, but more of a management. So my job and my family allows me to put more time into it. And the players, you have to be a little bit more flexible. You have to make sure that they're comfortable and not put under immense pressure all the time, because you want them to come and enjoy it with you.
Do you think forgive me if do you think your level of football gets the right amount of attention, or do you think governing bodies such as the FA and perhaps even Sporting England and sponsors should really provide more for your area, or do you think they just do enough, or do you think they do above and beyond?
To be honest, where I've come from, I've not really experienced it enough in what like non-league football right now. I've only been in it 3-4 years, so it's a lot less time than most people. People might be like other people might be able to answer that a bit better, but for me, I just think you can see sort of the difference in the levels now, how long they're taking with dealing with the top end of the game, and how quickly they dealt with our levels. So there is a massive gap there, but I'm not really too much knowledge to sort of answer that fully. But there is a massive gap by what you can see on the TV at the moment.
Do you think, speaking of that recent statement you made, do you think the decision was fair that the FA made, unfair, or do you think the bigger picture of this pandemic we're suffering in this country, it's bigger than football? Or do you think, as you said, the FA are taking priority with the top leagues?
Yeah, it seems that way. There's obviously a lot more. There's a lot more in the way at the top end. But one thing I will say is I do think it's bigger than football. I really do. Like, I'm not fazed by the fact that I'm disappointed. We were third in the division. We've worked hard. We've invested well. We've done everything we can, and it does feel like it's been taken away, like ripped away from you. But at the end of the day, this is bigger than football. I'm actually really proud of everyone in terms of the way that they're not set for this. This is a really difficult time, and nobody is trained and was even aware this was coming and going to hit us. So, from the top end, from the Parliament, I think we could be really proud with the way we have dealt with this as a country, and I hope that we can all get over it. Football, get the emotions out of the way of it, and really look forward to a bright future, really fit and well, because that's what really matters at this time. And I believe that we're doing a fantastic job all round in doing the right things, and if we stick with it, we'll all have a very, very good future.
Another thing I wanted to talk about is how do you have plans on how you're going to motivate some players? Because you speak about how you're third in the league. Do you think there's that fear that some players might think, oh, we've got to go again, and do you think you don't have any worries about your players will be up for it, or do you think they might feel a bit frustrated and angry at this decision and not really give it the same amount of effort they did this season compared to the new upcoming season?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't have any doubts in the group of players that we've got in terms of that. I know they're very disappointed, and they can be, but we will channel that disappointment and our emotions and go again. And the perfect example would be from the previous year. Heybridge actually won the playoffs and wasn't given the opportunity to get what they deserve, and they've gone again. They've built, and they're in the playoffs again. And who knows? They could have ended up playoff winners and things. So full credit to them for this season, and I expect teams to go again next season. And I do believe the players that we've got are of the mentality to go again, and they're winners, and they're strong lads, and they've really looked after each other this year. They really have, and this will make our football club a lot stronger.
Do you think your football club, because there's the obvious, I want to say, stereotype of the clubs you see at your level compared to the big businesses you see in the Premier League, where they're there for money and they're not really part of the community. Do you think your club, Tilbury, is really is in the community quite well, or do you think there's more that they could do to fit in with the community around the area?
We're actually working really hard to do that. We're lucky enough to have the prospect of the new stadium that's going to be a community stadium. So there's lots that come with that. We've got to do lots for the community to make that a place for them as well. And it's a fantastic challenge, and that Tilbury are a club moving in the right direction, and we can assure that the community are going to be heavily involved in that. And next season we'll start seeing big differences in that. We've got links into schools, colleges, and things like that. So we'll make it a place for everyone, and that's not easy. It's not easy to do that. It's run by fantastic people. It's family run, and they've got some brilliant people around them on the committee, and they will keep striving to do the best they can, and they're definitely moving in the right direction. And we will be heavily involved in the community as much as any other club.
On this channel as well, back to you, we get a lot of people who are looking at coaching roles, managing roles, such as yourself. What is your advice for these people who are listening or watching who want to get involved at your level? Is it that they need to go get their badges, or they need to just contact their club, or is it probably just starting at, like you say, at a younger age level and building yourself up that you can manage a men's team or a women's team at a high level?
Yeah, I'd just say if you've got a goal, a goal, like it sounds funny, I'm 30 years old and I've still got a dream to manage at the highest level. And if you feel along them lines, then you've got to make things happen. You've got to. My advice would probably be the same route I've done. Would be to get to this level. Like, I didn't think I'd be at this level right now. It's come a lot sooner than what I thought. But I've had the opportunity at football clubs. I created a football club, Pro Essex, in the Mid Essex division. We had 2 seasons there. I moved into the Olympian League at Basildon Town, which is a fantastic level. This really is a good level to get going, and you've got some serious players in there that can't really commit to the semi-professional side of it, and they've got some unbelievable talent in there, and there's still members of our squad at the moment that are from that league. But to cut this shorter, I'd get an opportunity and use it wisely, and always look for that progression, and it will get you where you want to be. If you believe in yourself that much and you aspire to be a good coach or a good manager, then take any opportunity and make it your own. That's what I would advise.
That's really good advice, to be honest. You should print that out and put it on posters.
All round Tilbury, yeah.
Yeah. Lastly, I just want to ask, as a manager, I'm always curious, because as a football fan, I get frustrated when my team loses. I get annoyed. I get upset. I post stuff on social media, and with no ill feeling, I just post it. And I feel like sometimes the manager is the one that gets the blame a lot. How do you overcome defeat? And after games, do you check social media, or do you just block it off entirely?
No, everyone checks social media without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, sometimes they can be sleepless, but there's one thing you like. I know it sounds silly, but where you say about learning off other people and listening, you take it as long as you're learning from it, and you've got that fight still, and you've got the hunger to keep going. Then you've got to accept that this is all part of it, and it's a very easy platform for someone to get at you, and you got to realise outside of that platform, you are doing a lot. You're doing something good. You're amongst a group of players that sometimes it's not going right, but that's a challenge you need to enjoy. You've got to enjoy them challenges, because if you don't, then it's not for you. It's not an easy process, but you've got to enjoy it. You've got to embrace it, and you've got to take them challenges on. And if you can't, you can't. Then you fall out of it. But in them moments, you've got to be very, very strong. Take the emotion out of everything, and you've got to do what's right for your football club. And most of the time, we do bounce back. There has been some performances this year that's not been acceptable, but we've bounced back, and we did end up going into the final part, third in the division, and we went on a fantastic run against some good, strong sides. If we was on the other end and we was in defeats there, who knows where I'd be. You might not be talking to me as Tilbury manager, but it's the way it is. But you've got to look after yourself, and if you can't take that criticism, don't look at it. But you do find yourself over-evaluating, looking at things, and just don't take things too personally, because one week you can walk into the clubhouse and everyone sort of don't want to talk to you, not got 2 words to say to you, but you go and win Tuesday night after the Saturday loss, and that's it. It's the best place to be in Tuesday night in the clubhouse. So it's all part and parcel of it, and I hope that answers your question, because I do know it does link into sort of the mental health side of things, and what I'm saying might not be adequate to how people are thinking and how deep they would think about things. So I don't mean, that's just the way I am and how I deal with things, and might be different and I do respect that.
Well, everyone is different. And Marc, just want to say thank you so much for doing this interview. It was really nice to see a coach's perspective on your level, and we wish Tilbury all the success in the future. Hopefully you'll be riding high, and obviously one day, you never know, turn on Match of the Day, could see you giving yourself and getting interviewed by Guy Lineker, and doing a complete coaching masterclass. But yeah, it's been brilliant, and thank you so much for doing this.
No, thank you. I needed that. I've been been struggling without the football. So I really do appreciate that. I really do appreciate it. And good luck to everything you're doing, and we thank you for it.
Thank you so much.
All right, top man. Well done, mate.